Virginia Code 2.2-3711 little a 3, discussion of acquisition of real property for public purpose or disposition of public held property. And one item under Virginia Code 2.2-3711 little a 8, consultation with legal counsel concerning a zoning violation.
So moved. Second.
May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Penn?
Yes.
Mr. Dawson?
Aye.
Mr. East?
Aye.
Mr. Radcliffe?
Aye.
Mr. Klontz?
Aye.
Mr. Reese?
Aye.
Now, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance, and Councilman Dawson, could you lead us, please?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you'd like to join us in prayer, please bow your head at this time. Heavenly Father, we thank you and ask your continued guidance and direction. Please grant us wisdom in all that we do as individuals and as a community. We ask your blessings always. In your name we pray. Amen.
And then, let's see, do we have a modification for the agenda? Yes, sir. Okay. I need a motion to modify the agenda by adding item 15C under new business, resolution 2020-28, resolution of support for extension of deadlines of the Coronavirus Relief Fund, the CRF, and adding item 16, manager's report, and moving future meetings to item 17. May I have a motion to modify the agenda regarding this item?
So moved. Second.
And a roll call, please.
Yes, sir. Mr. Penn?
Yes.
Mr. Dawson?
Aye.
Mr. East?
Aye.
Mr. Radcliffe?
Aye.
Mr. Klontz?
Aye.
Mr. Reese?
Aye.
All right, I'd like to welcome everyone that's here tonight. We'll start with the presentations. The first one will be a presentation for Mike McManus, Resolution 2020-24. Can I get a roll call? Do I need to read this first? Let's just read it all out. Okay. Yes. Okay. Okay. Resolution 2020-24, a resolution honoring Michael D. McManus upon his retirement from the town of Pulaski, Virginia. Whereas the town council of the town of Pulaski, Virginia desires to extend its recognition and appreciation to those employees retiring from the town who have worked diligently to improve the daily life of the community and its citizens. And whereas Michael D. McManus began his tenure with the town on June 24th, 1991 as the assistant park manager for Gatewood, becoming park manager July 1st, 1993, and retiring from the town on May 1st, 2020, with the total of 29 years of service. And whereas in his years of service, which include many weekends, holidays, and long hours on the job, Mr. McManus was always willing to assist citizens and fellow employees and go the extra mile if his help and skills were needed. And whereas no matter the task, whether it was towing stranded boaters back to shore, dealing with enthusiastic celebrants in the campground, or making repairs and performing work under all sorts of conditions and at all hours, both supervisors and fellow employees knew whatever task Mr. McManus was assigned, it would be done correctly, with great attention to detail, no matter how big or small the job was. And whereas, in his dealing with the public and his fellow employees, Mr. McManus was greatly respected by those who met and worked with him for his easygoing manner, quiet humor, and his ability to meet and work with people from all walks of life who crossed his path as he went about his duties. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Town Council of the Town of Pulaski, Virginia, sitting in regular session this first day of September 2020, that the Town Council does hereby extend to Michael D. McManus its warmest appreciation and gratitude for his 29 years of dedication, service to the Town of Pulaski, Virginia, and its best wishes for an enjoyable, relaxing, and fulfilling retirement. This resolution is effective upon adoption and is hereby adopted this first day of September 2020 by the duly recorded vote of the Town Council and the Town of Pulaski, Virginia, as follows. May I have a motion to accept, or,
Motion to approve resolution 2020-24.
and then can I have a roll call, please, sir?
Yes, sir. Mr. Penn?
Yes.
Mr. Dawson?
Aye.
Mr. East?
Aye.
Mr. Radcliffe?
Aye.
Mr. Klontz?
Aye.
Mr. Reese?
Aye, sorry, muted myself there.
Mike is on Zoom right now.
Oh, sorry, I said aye, I must have tried to mute
No,
myself.
Mike
Sorry,
McManus.
Mike
Thank you.
McManus.
Oh,
Mr. McManus, can you hear us?
Yes, sir, I sure can.
All right, is there anything you'd like to say?
Greetings from retirement land. Appreciate you guys taking the time to acknowledge my employment with the town of Pulaski. It was a great journey, and I never knew I'd have such a varied career, and it's been really an experience, and hope you guys have a great evening, and look forward to seeing the town of Pulaski, succeed in many areas in the future. Thank you.
All right, thank you for joining us, Mr. McManus.
Yes, sir.
Now, we'll do Resolution 2020-25, a resolution honoring Olivia Hale for her action in assisting residents in escaping a house fire. Whereas, the Town Council of the Town of Pulaski, Virginia, wishes to recognize and commend citizens who, of their own free will, stepped forward to render aid and assistance in an emergency situation where the life and safety of others were imperiled. And whereas, on the morning of July 5th, 2020, Miss Olivia Hale, while driving to her parents' residence, saw smoke coming from the vicinity of Peppers Ferry Road and investigating to find a house fire in progress at 912 Mashburn Avenue. And whereas, observing that no one was around to render aid or assistance, Ms. Hale assisted the elderly residents in getting away from the fiery dwelling. And whereas, given the distress of the elderly woman for the welfare of her two dogs, Ms. Hale moved the residents further to safety and successfully located the two pets who had fled the dwelling and placed them in the safety of her own vehicle. And whereas, Ms. Hale then advised first responders upon their arrival that there were oxygen tanks in the residence, then continued to care for the two elderly residents until their son arrived to care for the pets, and the EMS undertook care of the residents. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Town Council of the Town of Pulaski, Virginia, sitting in regular session this first day of September 2020, that the council does hereby commend and recognize Miss Olivia Hale for her courage and compassion in assisting and caring for the residents of the burning home by getting them to safety and seeing to their welfare until the arrival of the family and first responders. This resolution is effective upon adoption and is hereby adopted this first day of September 2020 by the duly recorded vote of the Town Council of the town of Pulaski, Virginia, as follows. Can I have a motion to adopt this?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adopt resolution 2020-25, a resolution honoring Olivia Hale for her actions in assisting residents in escaping a house fire, as written.
Second.
May I have a roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Mr. Penn?
Yes.
Mr. Dawson?
Aye.
Mr. East?
Aye.
Mr. Radcliffe?
Aye.
Mr. Clontz?
Aye.
Mr. Reese?
Aye.
Ms. Hale.
No more sharing. Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 2020-26, a resolution of appreciation and thanks to David C. Clark for his service as councilman and mayor for the town of Pulaski. Whereas David L. Clark has faithfully and honorably served the citizens of the town of Pulaski, Virginia, as a member of the town council from June 1st, 2006 to June 30th, 2018, and as mayor from July 1st, 2018 to June 30th, 2020, for a total of 14 years of service. And whereas Mr. Clark, a lifelong resident of Pulaski, both as a council member and as mayor, worked diligently to support and foster all efforts and initiatives to promote and enhance the growth and well-being of the town of Pulaski and its citizens. And whereas in discussions concerning various issues affecting the town, Mr. Clark was known for his practical, down-to-earth approach in considering both the creation and implementation of policies, focusing especially on its effect upon the citizens and the future well-being of the town in seeking to improve the quality of life for each citizen and the town as a whole. And whereas Mr. Clark did not limit his service to his council duties, but also participated in a number of initiatives and special groups such as the Calfee School Steering Committees and Pulaski on Main, representing the town in its efforts to move forward in enhancing and celebrating both the town's life and the heritage of its citizens. And whereas in his service to his hometown, first as a councilman, then as mayor, Mr. Clark continued a family tradition of service following in the footsteps of his father, Mr. Gerald Clark, who served the town as a longtime member of the Board of Zoning Appeals. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Town Council of the Town of Pulaski, Virginia, sitting in regular session this first day of September 2020, that the Town Council hereby extends its appreciation and thanks to Mr. David L. Clark for his dedicated service as a member of the Town Council, as mayor, and a lifelong resident and citizen of the town of Pulaski. This resolution is effective upon adoption and is hereby adopted this first day of September 2020 by the duly recorded vote of the Town Council of the town of Pulaski, Virginia. May I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, make a motion to approve resolution 2020-26, a resolution of appreciation and thanks to David O. Clark for his service as a council member and mayor of the town of Pulaski. Second.
May I have a roll call, please, Mr. Clark?
Yes, sir. Mr. Penn?
Yes.
Mr. Dawson?
Aye.
Mr. East?
Aye.
Mr. Radcliffe?
Aye.
Mr. Clontz?
Aye.
Mr. Reese?
Aye.
Thank you. Resolution 2020-27, a resolution honoring Joseph K. Goodman for his service as a member of Town Council. Whereas Joseph K. Goodman has faithfully and honorably served the citizens of the town of Pulaski as a member of the Town Council from July 1st, 2016 to June 30th, 2020. And whereas during his tenure on council, Mr. Goodman constantly upheld the need for responsible and accountability, physical management, making sure that the public's finances were being handled both responsibly and in accordance with accepting physical practices. And whereas concerning ongoing projects or incentives, Mr. Goodman took interest in the progress of these special projects concerning himself with the progress, cost, and alternatives that might prove more more financially advantageous to the town. And whereas Mr. Goodman also promoted cooperative efforts with other municipalities and espoused new, more efficient approaches to conducting town affairs to reduce the physical burden on the town and its citizens. And whereas, with respect to the town's employees, Mr. Goodman was willing to listen to, and if necessary, assist employees with their concerns and problems by working on their behalf to ensure they were treated in a fair and professional manner. And now, therefore, be it resolved by the Town Council of the Town of Pulaski, Virginia, sitting in regular session this first day of September 2020, that the Town Council hereby extends its appreciation to Mr. Joseph K. Goodman for his dedicated service to the welfare of the citizens of the Town of Pulaski as a member of Town Council. This resolution is effective upon adoption and is hereby adopted this first day of September 2020 by the duly recorded vote of the Town Council of the Town of Pulaski, Virginia. May I have a motion, please?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adopt resolution 2020-27, a resolution honoring Joseph K. Goodman for his service as a member of Town Council.
May I have a roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Mr. Penn?
Yes.
Mr. Dawson?
Aye.
Mr. East?
Aye.
Mr. Radcliffe?
Aye.
Mr. Klontz?
Aye.
Mr. Reese?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, and now we'll move on to the presentation of the Pulaski County Staycation Destination, Peggy White. She's of the Chamber of Commerce.
Good evening.
I'm Peggy.
Thank you all for letting me be here.
Oh, sorry.
I know most of you know, it's okay for everyone else to speak, otherwise my glasses do not, I can't see what I'm writing. Most of you all do know me, but I don't know if you also know that I've had another title for a long time. And that is, not only have I been with the Chamber for almost 20 years, but I've been executive director since 2008, but I've also served as the DMO, which is a designated marketing official for Pulaski County since 2009. Tonight with me is Shannon Ainsley, my associate. Who is not with me is another team member that we've just recently taken on. Her name is Shelby Vendergraff, and unfortunately Shelby is in COVID lockdown. So, tonight we're going to talk about tourism and what it means for Pulaski County. Tourism means it has become a $26 billion industry.
Sorry, is it frozen? Sorry, y'all, technical
Hi, Michael.
difficulties.
What is tourism, as a lot of people will ask us, okay? Essentially, it's our assets. It's Gateway Park. It's the Dora Trail. It's Claver Lake. It's all the things that we have around us, but also it's that creative economy. And that creative economy is our artisans, it's our history, it's our agriculture, it's our musicians. And people come here to enjoy what we consider as our everyday lifestyle. When you get off work, if you go fishing, if you go on the trails, that's our lifestyle. But people pay, and they consider it a getaway to come here. And as you can see on the next slide, thank you. And you're up another one to the, thank you. As you can see, we've seen a 2.8% increase in state revenue and 1.7% increase in local tax revenues from 2014 to 2018. Okay, now to better understand where we've been with it, I'm going to take you back to the beginning of how tourism has evolved in Pulaski County. Beginning in 2002, they opened the Pulaski County Visitor Center. It became a certified visitor center, open 7 days a week, closed only 5 days out of the year. In 2005, the Chamber took over the management of the Visitor Center. We began taking reservations for Randolph Park, the shelters. We began taking reservation sign-ups for all of the rec sports, and we also began selling tickets for local attractions in the area, whether it was the New River Fair, the Pulaski Theater, things like that. And something that I need to point out here is that our budget for advertising was $500. That's it. In 2008, when I became the director, we established the focus of the Chamber into 4 areas: small business, industry, workforce development / tourism. Okay? We developed the first strategic tourism plan with over 50 area participants. We held customer service training for frontline personnel. We played a major role in the development of the first New River Valley website, Explore NRV. From 2008 to 2012, we developed a passport program. And this was to get our citizens going and to understand what we had here. And one of the things I like to point out, because it was the thing I was most shocked about, is that at the New River Fairgrounds, did you all know that Toby Keith, Kenny Chesney, and Trace Atkins played there? Oh, come on. You really did? Okay, I didn't. I was totally shocked. Kenny Chesney, wow. And that was good old Bud, if you'll remember, he had an ear for music.
Let me interrupt you. Did you know that Kenny Chesney didn't sell out that much?
Don't tell me that, Jamie. You're
Very
killing me
small
now.
crowd.
Ugh.
Very small. But that was the beginning.
Exactly. He had an ear for music, that fellow. Okay. We also tried to define Fairlawn as part of Pulaski County. As most of you know, we have a really difficult time with people recognizing Fairlawn as being in Pulaski. People think it's Radford. So we developed a Halloween trail. We also developed a Christmas event out there. We hosted Bike Virginia for the first time. We remodeled the visitor center to showcase our natural assets. We worked with Radford University on a year-long project. We developed a character map, produced a new county map, developed the first Pulaski County tourism brand orchestrated by nature. We developed the Chamber website to serve both tourism and the Chamber. And somewhere around this time, our advertising budget began to increase to $5,000. So we were moving up here. We also have been involved in numerous committees which we're still involved in. Anything from Crooked Road, Round the Mountain, So Fresh, Wilderness Road, Brew Trail, and we also have been working with the other New River Valley DMOs for the past 11 years. In 2013, we were given a really unique opportunity, and that was from you all. Much thanks. Because you helped us build a platform to showcase that creative economy that we were trying to market and promote. We spent an entire year researching, traveling to other markets to develop the concept and creating the brand, The Marketplace. The first year we promoted over 45 artisans and had over 30 vendors. We became an incubator for small business, giving businesses like the Blue Ridge Fudge Lady and Lizard Licks their start. At the same time, we were able to tackle another problem. Pulaski County has some of the highest obesity rates in the state. We brought in chefs, specifically, if you all will remember, Lewis Gale chef Paul Etzel would come in and do demonstrations of foods that were healthy and in season, and then we would give out recipes. And we also developed a recipe cookbook for that. All right, so we're moving along, and then we were asked to do the town of Pulaski on Main Street. So after a year of working with Radford University on a case study, in their industrial site department, we were able to establish the areas of opportunity, and the biggest opportunity that came to light was tourism. So we developed a brand, a Facebook page, we renovated the space promoting local artisans and businesses for $2,500, if you all can believe, using chamber membership labor and resources. We developed resource guides for the businesses, a resource guide for the citizens, held quarterly tourism meetings down there. You can see that was one of the spaces, one of the meetings that we had. And during this time, we were also involved in creating an agritourism plan with Giles in Montgomery County, and the result of that was the Blue to New brand, okay? And unfortunately, it was a grant program, and after the brand was established, there wasn't anything to push through with, although we're still working on it. Okay, we're moving to 2017. And 2017 is when we saw this major shift. For a long time, tourism had been worked in with workforce development. That was the only way we could really promote our area, is saying it was to develop our workforce. Okay, at this point in 2017, it starts to break away a little bit, and we start looking at more of a way of a lifestyle, promoting our lifestyle that we have here, along with our assets, and using it to retain and recruit younger talent. The first campaign we came up with Pulaski County Is campaign, and that was an internal campaign to get our citizens excited about what we had to offer and all the good things we had here. We did it in print and we did it on radio, and we had a great response to it. We also developed a website at that point and then made the Pulaski County Is video. In 2018, we're at phase 2. We took the Pulaski County Is campaign a little bit outside. Again, using it for recruitment and retention, we partnered and did promotions with Virginia Tech, IMG, and Radford University. And it was a twofold campaign again. It was to bring in, to get that young talent over there, and to get them to cross over that bridge and to come over into Pulaski County and see how great it was. In 2018, we also hosted Lake Virginia for a second time. In 2019, this was a great campaign. We did the 50 Years of Love campaign. We received a $10,000 grant from VTC, and we put our focus on recruiting a little bit outside the area. We partnered with 10 people, including the town of Pulaski, for this, and it was a 16-week rollout. We did videos partnered with the high school studios to do the videos, and what it was is we would move that Volvo truck around for 16 weeks, and the first person that found it would get a $100 gift card, and it was put up mainly on social media. We also did promotions on with the Charlotte Observer, actually, and that was an online promotion to try to get people to come into our area and see what was going on. As a matter of fact, that truck sat for 6 months down at the Roanoke Regional Airport, so when people were coming in and out, they could see it. I thought that was pretty cool. Okay. I did, I was really excited about it. Okay, so we were in line with our marketing campaign for this year, and then all of a sudden we got hit with COVID, so we had to change our focus and our direction. We had to move away from our entire marketing plan and start helping our businesses. We were putting out resources, we were serving on task force, we were helping people find where they could get the PPP grant. You know, that became our focus. We turned our Tuesday topics to weekly sessions on every aspect of the community so people could keep up with what was going on and where they could go. Okay, one of the things that came out of this was a video, and it came from Virginia Tourism Corporation. We'll be waiting for you, and I don't know if you can get that to play.
Oh, it started.
No?
I'm Jonathan Sweet, the county administrator here in Pulaski County, Virginia. We have so many amazing tourism and recreation businesses that have been hard hit by our response to the coronavirus. These businesses exist to take care of and serve you. Now they need us, and it's our time to take care of them by enjoying your vacation here with all of us.
Summer baseball. Enjoy Lakeland. Wow, professional theater. Unique pizza neutral fries.
Pulaski County will be waiting for you.
That thing was viewed over about 10,000 times. Not quite as many as yours, but close, okay? But it was for people who know what we've got here and that we're still here and the lifestyle that we have. And we used recognizable people. People know Bud Foster, people know P. Buckley Moss, so it brought more attention to the video. So we're gonna move right on to our staycation campaign. How does this come about? We need to keep people in our area. We are in the perfect place to be. I didn't want to be anywhere else. I don't know about you all. I mean, this wasn't a hot spot. This was the perfect place to be. For businesses, you don't want your employees going anywhere else. You don't want your family going anywhere else. You want them here where it's safe. There's nobody here. That's why we came up with this campaign. So the campaign kicks off, and here's an outline of how we tackled it. What was the point? Who are we? Who should we target? What makes us special right now? How will we get the message out? And let's look at the results. All right. So when you look at this, keep people local. Support, that was the number one thing. Support our local businesses. We came out with campaigns really pushing for people to do gift cards, you know, do curbside, putting out hours when restaurants were open and when they were shut. Our brand awareness, and then media diversity. I'm going to get more in depth on that. The research opportunities showed that because we were secluded, we were perfect for those who wanted to social distance and enjoy a small town environment with big city things to do. Okay, we went to content marketing for this. Who is our target audience? Here it is, ages 21 and up. We're still able to hit the younger people. Interest, the people that enjoy the outdoors and small town feels. Family, ages 35 plus with children and disposable income 70 up. The brand. We developed itineraries, which you all have in some of your cups, and put them on our landing page, Staycation, on the newly developed visitpulaskiva.org site. And we secured a VTC grant for $2,200 on that. Here are the 8 platforms. Building blocks, it was me. Here are the 8 platforms that we used. We used TV, geofencing, radio, website, social media, print, billboards, and newsletter. So we came at this in all different avenues, hitting everybody from old to young that they're going to see this on one of these. Okay, the first thing we did on this one is you're looking at is WDBJ7. You can see some of the ads that we ran, the 30-second ads. These were the ads that popped up on your phone when you were on the weather and news apps. This is the takeover we did. We did it 4 times with WDBJ on their landing page of their website. Okay, guys, this is really cool. So this geofencing, I don't know if anybody knows much about it. Some of you might. But basically, it's location-based digital marketing. So, you know, it's kind of like you went to bed one night as Wilma Flintstone and woke up as Judy Jackson. And all of a sudden, these people are targeting you, you know? So we can target these people and send ads to their phone. I just think this is the coolest thing in the world. But we took that on. Radio, we used a local radio because this was some of the local promotion. We used Curtis in the Morning on 107 PSK. Okay, we've also used a company out of Denver, and basically they do research-based optimization for social media and websites. And they have been taking over the Pulaski County Is site, and what they do is they research it out there. They see what our competitions are looking at, they see what people are going to search for, and they are writing our blogs and our posts to accommodate and draw attraction to it. All right, so we took the existing promotional materials. Oh, I'm sorry, Shannon. Let me go back. I can go back. I jumped ahead of you. That was our new website. So we took the website, and as you can see, the visitpulaskivirginia.org, and we made it to what we were promoting at, your golf and destination, your hiking, biking, all the outdoor activities that people could still come here and do so that we could draw people onto it. We took all of our existing promotions that we have been doing for the past couple of years, communication, the billboards. We changed all the billboards over that are promoted and supported by our businesses to push for that staycation here and our outdoor assets. The communication on the newsletter. We developed a tourism newsletter in March. That newsletter went out twice a month and is now going out once a week through the summer, and we'll go back to monthly. If you all are not getting it, we'd love to have you get it. It keeps you up on everything that's going on. The itinerary, suggestions for things to happen, anything like that. We promoted it out and sent it to a lot of our plant managers and that, so they could distribute it to their employees. Because again, they want to keep their employees in the area. All right, so here's the results. And I think that if you can look at this, I think it's going to speak for itself. And all I've got to say is a 1,200% change increase in page views. 1,200%. I think that's pretty amazing myself. I mean, not 10, not 20, 1,200% increase. Okay? Now, all right, we're gonna look at the timeline moving on. Okay, so we did the summer staycation. The ad that you see above it is from that geofencing. That's the ad that's going out to the students right now. There's one for Radford and one for Virginia Tech. We're designing, we're coming up, we're working with a new video that should be coming out hopefully by October or November. We'll be promoting the fall scenery and what you can do outside at this point. If there's any outdoor concerts, like Mountain to Island still has a few things going on. We're going to redo the visitor's guide so that's in more of a brochure size. We're looking at gateway signs. As many of you probably have noticed, we put some flags. Our attempt was to highlight the entrances, because I don't know about you, but when I travel, if I go off of an interstate exit and I don't see any signage, I'm not going to stop at that one. I'm going to move on. And so we're looking right now to start with 2 gateway signs, one in Draper and one at Clayton Lake. And then for Shop Local, we'll be looking at an entire promotion for Shop Local for the whole entire month of November. Alrighty. So I know I've talked a lot about what we've been doing, but we've also been working at another level that we never really talk about. And as I mentioned earlier, we've been part of a group for about 11 years working with the other DMOs. And as you know, when you collaborate and you pull your resources together, you can get a bigger bang for your buck. And so my personal goal, I don't know what theirs is, I want us to be in the top 15 destination spots in the state of Virginia. If you look online, it's possible. We can do this. We're not going to do it alone. Pulaski County isn't going to make it alone, but as part of the New River Valley, we can make that, and I know we can make it happen. We've done all kinds of things on this other level of marketing with this group by pulling our resources together, and that would require another presentation. We're still working on some things right now. Our hope is to pull everybody together so that collectively we can have more bargaining power and we can have a bigger presence. We had a meeting with Delegate Nick Rush a while back discussing how we can make the New River Valley its own entity, its own region. And those are the type of goals we're looking at. But we've got to be in it together. And right now is why I'm here tonight, because I want you all to be a part of the entire tourism campaign, okay? Not just the campaign, but the whole program. If we can pull our resources together and Pulaski's solid, then we can go to the New River Valley. If they're bringing people in, then we can have them here. What I'm asking is for you to partner with us. We're looking at coming up with a promotion for this spring. It requires no financial commitment at this time from you all. It requires none. Not that there won't be some later, at some point, for something else. Come on now, you know. But that's what we're looking at, so that we can do a rollout next spring with, again, trying to get people to come into our area. We don't know where COVID's going to be, so that's what we're looking at. I also have 2 other things to add to this, so to let you know on some things that are coming up that you'll just get a kick out of. So we've been asked to participate in the Battle of the Bridge, and it will be on October 24th and 25th. It'll be a golf tournament at the Peak Dive River Course, and it will be for bragging rights. Basically, all the monies will go to ACE. So keep that in your mind. If you're up for it and want to come out and shoot around, that'd be great, and participate. The other thing is, okay, we had the Jack-o'-lantern spectacular last year. We can't do that this year. So we're going to do a drive-through tree trail, okay? But part of that is gonna be the pumpkin carving. Okay, don't shy away. I mean, come on. So we need somebody from the town to be part of that. All donations for this are gonna go to Coats for Kids. So if you would think about it and let us know, that'd be great. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Who won that pumpkin carving last year? I forgot.
Ty Kirkner, he wants to have it again. He hit me up at a ribbon cutting and said, we've gotta do that. We have got to do that. I wanna get that contest.
That's because he won. Of course he wants to do it again.
Yeah, he does. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's funny, you brought up the signage for Gatewood. It's actually a conversation that has been brought up just recently of in that whole area of tourism and looking for people to know. It's just such an underutilized asset
It is.
and not well known if you talk to folks outside of our
It's
area.
gorgeous. But you know yourself, when you're traveling, you know, signage is everything. We have to get this signage in place. If we're gonna move up on the tourism realm, you're not gonna get people coming here if you don't have it properly lighted and signage. You're just not.
I agree.
So, that's one of the things we're working on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I do have one question, Peggy. I'm sorry, because you were just about to get comfortable. I'm curious, and this, it's not a trick question, I just don't know that I fully understand it. How do you really gauge, I mean, for instance, on your website, you had an additional, it went up 1,200%.
Right.
It was on it. What other measures do you have to?
They look at
measure
impressions,
success?
like with the geofencing,
Right.
and I'll be glad to share all that with you. You can look at, like, on your social media page, the ups and the likes that you have. You can look at how long people are staying on. You can look at the shares. Here, we just recently did something the other week, and that was to motivate people, and thank you, Mayor, for doing that. To motivate people to open a business now, to take that fear away from them. So it was really important for us to get with somebody that had just opened a business.
That was a good segment, I saw that.
Okay, that had over 13,000 views. It had 96 shares, okay? And I don't know how many comments were on it, but when you start looking at that social media, it's how long people were staying on it. Like, you can go on the website, whether they're going from that page to another page, and those are the types of things that you're looking at. You wanna retain them. If they're sharing, that's great. To me, I look at whether they're sharing, because that means they're looking at it. Or if they're commenting, if they're engaged, those type of things. A lot of them you can't see the overall effect. Okay, like with the geofencing, we can get some impressions and we can get some numbers. But what really told it, we've been sending people to that website, so that's why that number to us was so important. Everything that we've done, we've been sending to the website. And that's why we changed it. I think Visit Pulaski VA is catchy, you know? I mean, you're not gonna forget about it. I couldn't remember what the other one was myself. I had to keep looking at my card. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I was
Thank
curious.
you. Any other questions?
Congratulations on your success.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, now we'll move on to mobile market plan, beans and rice. Lily.
It's a tough act to follow. I'm celebrating, this is my first day on the job, so
Congratulations.
easy on me. So, on behalf of Beans and Rice, I want to thank, I need a clicker, right?
Yes.
Yes, sorry. I want to thank you again. Just the side.
Yeah, the one on the right.
Okay. On behalf of Beans and Rice, I want to thank you so much for allowing me to speak tonight. I want to share with you a concept that the Beans and Rice board members and staff have been looking at for a while, and one whose time we think has come. Our concept is a mobile food market to give access to healthy food options for those struggling with food insecurity in our community. Right now, there are underserved neighborhoods, newly unemployed, and elderly that lack access to fresh, nutritionally dense, and immune-boosting foods. They may lack transportation or are immune compromised, which can maybe make traditional stores a challenge, if not dangerous, at this point in time. Fresh fruits and vegetables can be more expensive than packaged foods, and COVID-19 has highlighted the need and the supply issue with having healthier foods available for lower income families and individuals. Large-scale unemployment means the needs of below and moderate income families and children is increasing disproportionately. And at the same time, we are experiencing, nonprofits that is, are experiencing reduced donations from funders, and the food donations that are available need to go much further. There are many types of food services in our community doing great work, and we have food pantries, hot meals that serve on site, reclaimed food from grocery stores and restaurants that are shared back into the community, mobile meals that go out to our seniors, several CSAs, and backpack programs that send food home with youth on the weekends. The one thing that is missing in our community, in this county, is a way to get fresh produce and healthy food products out to neighborhoods and areas that are underserved and maybe have transportation issues getting in. Beans and Rice used to do this at several sites, but COVID made inside food distribution at those particular sites unsafe. With our concept, we have broadened the target market to include a wide range of customers, those who are in desperate need, always, and also all the way up to those who are currently not financially challenged. And I'll explain our thinking. Our goal is to build sustainability into our mobile food market model by leveraging the one-time COVID-19 recovery funds with an innovative business model, and we plan to put our mobile food market in the best position possible to be going strong in the years to come. Through sales to those who can pay in some form, we would have income to purchase a portion of the products we would offer. This would allow us to support our local farmers and businesses by buying fresh produce and farm products directly from them. Our plan is, I think I skipped one, I'm sorry. Okay, our plan is to subsidize the mobile market with mobile market bucks, for lack of a better term at this moment. For those without any resources, they will use the market money just like cash to purchase items. Customers who have SNAP Double Value or WIC will be able to use those with us. And then those who wish to support the work of the mobile market can pay a regular price and enjoy healthy food as well. It is important to us that our work support the organizations who have been meeting food security needs in our community. So we will look to donate unsold produce to the other food pantries and other service providers. We would also be in a position to help move excess food from one site to others that are in need. What we're really looking forward to is partnering with the Calvi Community and Cultural Center, especially the future Lennox Huckstep Community Kitchen. We have visions of products from businesses or cooking programs that are using the kitchen being sold through the mobile food market. Here we go. In developing this concept, we were really fortunate to be able to look, for an example, at the Leap market in Roanoke. They have integrated healthy food and the local food systems to create an entire network, and it's really cool, so you gotta check it out. Lastly, I wanted to share with you some of the calculations that Eric Busey, the previous executive director for Beans and Rice, shared with the County Board of Supervisors. I feel they speak to how Beans and Rice approaches the funds that were given. We have invested $5.3 million in federal 21st century out-of-school time funding back into our community through salaries, programming, purchasing of supplies. We've done that since 2008. We've also facilitated over $400,000 in volunteer work from alternative break students, and they spend that and do that work inside our community. We have distributed over $400,000 worth of reclaimed food, and these are just 3 of the programs that we offer. We offer several more that have really made a difference in the community. Right now, we're working to pull funding together to make this project work for those areas whose needs are not being able to be met right now. And to do this, we are reaching out to a number of funding sources. We are working with the county for possible funding. We are also writing grants and working with other donors. We've had to adjust our figures up from our original estimates with our research and contacting people that are doing this. It went from our very optimistic 76,000 up to about, it's gonna cost us about 150,000 to make sure that we are set for this coming year to have it working right. And we are really committed to doing this, if we're doing it, to do it right. Because what we want to do is we want to make sure that, that we want, what we want to make sure is that we are still here years from now. That this is not just, you know, we're taking care of COVID issues and then bam, we're gone. We want to make sure we're taking care of COVID issues and then we're still here and we're still meeting needs, because if it's not COVID, it may be a natural disaster. We want to have things going that can easily flex to meet the needs of what's coming up in our community. So we do not want to hinder the funding to other organizations. That is not our thing, to take anything away. We want to work side by side. But with that said, what we want to do is ask for $40,000 in CARE funding from the town if that's possible. And I understand it's a really big ask. We intend to use this not just to address current needs, but like I said, to build on something that we continue to meet needs long after. Just like beans and rice as individual ingredients come together to create something greater than themselves, our staff works constantly to give this community many times more than what we've received. And as the new executive director, I am excited to be able to build on a strong foundation as we work to partner and move forward to do even greater things. So I want to say thank you so much for having me here, and if you have any questions, like I said, take it easy on me. I will get you the answers if I do not know them on the top of my head.
I just have a few questions, and I'm completely comfortable with the thought of those answers coming back.
Absolutely.
But I really appreciate you coming, because this conversation came up, I guess, recently, and we realized that we were very curious to get more information about it, so I certainly.
And that's why I'm here, so that we can help.
Yeah, so I certainly appreciate that, but one of the questions that I had in my mind is in regards to the unserviced areas, of I guess getting a better understanding of really what are the areas, the locations that are unserved, that we're trying to make sure get served better. What is the to get an understanding of that population within context of where we are, to kind of understand where's that gap when we're talking about actual location that we really want to get in touch with. And I know you made a comment in your presentation about previous sites that you couldn't currently use, and so I guess I'd really like to understand where those locations are and what the usage of those locations were when they were functioning. I think would help.
Absolutely. They were basically your typical food distribution, where we did reclaimed or donated, or even some food that we purchased, and it was in Washington Square and in, okay, I'm having a brain freeze now. I accidentally locked the rest of my notes in my new office. So apologize. But we had two sites that we worked with in their little community centers, but they were in low income housing communities. So those were two definite. It just wasn't enough space in there for us to do it in a COVID safe manner. Bradford had a space and had a little more space, and while we had a tent, we just kind of moved it partly outside and partly inside. We've got some extra space in there, so that one's we're still going with. But we'd like those sites, if we had a mobile unit, we could pull up and we would be safe, because our goal is to set up the truck in a COVID safe manner so that people would be spaced out around, but also have them sign up like we do now. We have them in Bradford, they sign up for a time slot, and so that we don't have just a rush of people, but they would be signed up, and that's working really well. So some of the neighborhoods I know, what we've looked at in this mapping, where people can walk to, because we have a lot of people, if they didn't before, they may have trouble paying for gas, even if they are doing so. How can they walk to a traditional grocery store or a market that we have in town? And I know where my stepdad lives, it's a hike. So him getting Now granted, he's a very, very active 85-year-old, but he's about the only one that can walk from his neighborhood, and he has, down to the train station, or down into town. So that is the thing that one of the reasons we're looking at, where are those neighborhoods, where are those places that may have communities and elderly or low-income disadvantaged neighborhoods that may not have the transportation able to get there. Now, I know that we have transit, and that's great, but there's some people that even that's an issue. So, and we have on that. Did that answer your question?
Yes. So some of it is a little still in works as far as being.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, and I will tell you, okay. So I've partnered several times with the Virginia, Senior Design Engineering, their systems design teams. We have been approved, and they will be doing all the research to locate where those spots are. That is their project this year with me. I have 2 projects with them, and that's one of them. So that they will be able to locate, and one of the things we'll be discussing is how they can do it, how they can find where the need is, and then they're gonna help me also set up the system for, like, setting up times, just how it's gonna be distributed, what's the best way to reach these populations. So, yeah, I've got a team of younger brains that I'm putting on that.
And then I just have one last question, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
The $40,000 would be used specifically for the purchase of or to help with the purchase of
Right.
food truck.
The food truck, and what we wanna do is start out and get, like I said, we're gonna be, kind of all rolled into one. Our budget is rolled in not just with the truck, but it's also with what it's gonna take to get it, fitted out, but also the things that getting produce to start, because you've gotta have that first start program, produce, in order to, and get those markets put together. So that's gonna be where some of the funds go, and a little bit of marketing, but we didn't spend a whole lot on that. We've got set up some things to do.
I'm just curious as to what, as far as the longevity of the program, so there's a lot of, I understand, a lot of initial startups, costs of the vehicle thing.
Right.
Beyond that, what's the vision beyond year 1?
I said, as far as what we would be doing.
As far as the expense and how.
So that's what we're hoping is that we would build a customer base that is mixed enough, so that because some of the WIC money comes back and we get the double, we get paid back for some of that. So what we were hoping is to build that market so that those funds plus, like as we said, any funds that people that just wanted to support, if you wanted to do good and do well at the same time, you could get healthy food and if you pay full market value for it, if you wanted to be part of that program and pay full market, that would help pay the let us support the rest of it. So our goal is to be diverse enough to be self-sufficient going beyond the road so that we can do it. The other thing we really want to do is build relationships with our farmers and our local markets to be able to purchase as much as possible and not rely as heavily, because if you're simply using donated food, and donated food is great, but it's usually higher in calories and not usually as fresh. And when it's donated, it's usually at the end of its life cycle, and we really want to focus on getting more at the beginning. So what we're hoping is to encourage not only that, but also work on getting like recipes out there and getting people cooking and using things that are grown locally and understand how to do that. So yeah, that we have visions right now. We're getting it down, but right now, of course, our immediate need is getting the food out there to people that don't need it.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Can I ask a question? Or somebody else had one first? Sorry.
I think it's all you, Michael.
So, I'm understanding this correctly. So, what you're saying is anyone can purchase from the market, and then, if that's correct, would this also be available for sort of like a startup business that wanted to use it for sort of value-added products, like, stuff done with produce or with fruit or with other like locally grown or not products?
Yes, that's what we're envisioning. As I said, anytime you're starting and we're in this, some things may work better than others, but yes, especially out of the healthy kitchen, those are one of the things that we were hoping to be able to partner with them so that we could really encourage and help market for them, things that were done in that. But yes, I think that it's a good way for small businesses to get started, you know, get word out if they were doing it, but it just we'd have to work with them as far as cost and everything like that. Some products would be beyond probably what, you know, our lower income folks would, but we really want to try and make it all at a cost that is affordable, with the bucks that we either source, you know, from donation funds or through are able to do with the assistance like that. So we are trying to broaden it out, but yes, I do see, and we're gonna do more than just produce because we know we're taking, if we're doing a market, we need to carry some other things that are staples and give healthy options in those staples. Did I get that for you, Mike?
It did, thank you.
It'll be servicing other communities as well.
Well, you know, what we're looking at is, right now, we're looking at if Pulaski County is a big funder and they're looking at helping support us, and Pulaski Town, that's where our focus is gonna be. If we don't end up getting enough funds to do it with that, and we have to go to Radford and do it, we're gonna expand our services. It'll be who kind of buys into that program, that's gonna be the way we're gonna do our services.
Mr. Mayor, if I could ask a question, what is the ask to Pulaski County if you're asking the town for $40,000?
We haven't officially, we have talked, it's more than 40, but we haven't really said, when we did our presentation, we didn't actually do anything more than.
Okay, I think it would be very helpful, not just to me and my role, but to the council, to have a detailed budget that would show where you intend to spend the money in the first year, and obviously there's a big investment in the vehicle.
Right. Way more than I thought.
Yeah,
way more.
Which wouldn't necessarily be reoccurring, to get to Mr. East's question, but then to see what the balance of the funding is needed for, and then some expectation of what your ongoing cost would be. I think that would be helpful, I know, to me, in making a recommendation to the council as to whether or not we should participate. But I think the council's questions indicate they have a need for that kind of detail as well. So if you could get that to me, I will make sure it's distributed to them.
I will be happy to do that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for allowing me the opportunity.
Is there anything specific that you would also, besides a budget, that you all would be interested in seeing? Or any other questions?
I think, I know, as you guys finalize the data on the service areas, I think it would be important to, you know, to understand that, as that comes. I think maybe that's just, this personally would kind of, so to know what and where the program, you know, is going, you know, as those details come out. And on the CARES money, what's the timeline of that? Isn't there a timeline associated?
It has to be spent, by the end of December. But we can make a commitment, you know, and if the biggest amount of the expense is obviously the vehicle, then that could very easily be handled. And the budget that I gave you all several weeks ago, that still is in limbo as it relates to the issue of how do you address hunger, had a little bit more money than, don't ask for more, but a little bit more budgeted than she is making as a request, so it would fit within the allocation that we have, certainly. But there is a commitment, and there are some unique ways that people are looking at how do you make these commitments, get the bills paid in a way that it still qualifies. And so in the case of the Wi-Fi that we're going to be putting in the downtown to try to market our downtown businesses, we're going to pay a year in advance as a way to make sure that it's eligible. So depending on the particulars, we may be able to work around some things, but not having all those details makes it hard to say exactly how we would address it.
I think you guys have, and just to be clear for myself, you guys have some fantastic ideas, you know, and what you guys are working on. I think it's more in order to be diligent about the responsibility of the money. It is one pot of money to be spent, and so we have to understand, you know, that, you know, the benefits, you know, from those decisions.
Absolutely.
And I would just, because she's brought the subject up, make the council aware that probably starting tomorrow or at the latest Thursday, we're going to be putting out a grant process for nonprofit organizations where they would literally put in formal applications for us in the same way that we've been doing that for small businesses. But we're opening up as another activity for nonprofits. So this group, as well as some others in the community, I'm sure will be looking to those CARES Act money.
And if you think of anything else afterwards, we're happy to send you that information. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Lee.
I hope your first day of work was a good one.
Other than locking the door and leaving my keys in the other side. It's great. It's been great. I am really, really excited. So thank you. It's fun to spend it with you all.
And now we'll move on to the public hearings. Are there any public hearings tonight? Okay. And the public comment period.
I'll go ahead and get started first. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Reverend Joseph Goodman. I'm part of the firm EAC Squared Consulting on 41 East Main Street. I'm coming to you today to talk about the comments that were made at your previous meeting about parking enforcement on Main Street. First of all, I'm one of the business owners that parks on the street. I have to, because that's where you have your handicap space. We've been on East Main Street now for 5 years. Part of the reason why we selected the location was the availability of broadband, readily accessed parking off the street. We don't have a parking problem on East Main Street. If there's an issue between business owners, we talk to each other. We don't need to involve the town and drag them in, and we figure it out. But there's plenty of parking on East Main Street right now. The businesses are there. We're one of the larger ones. We have 12 employees and tenants that park on the street or in the public lot. And like many businesses on East Main Street and even West Main Street, our building takes the entire lot. There is no off-street parking for us. The closest public lot, of course, is right over next to Nick Glenn. That has about 12 spaces in it. Then you've got the one down on the corner, which West Main Street Development is using. You could put more parking in. The other option is something that was presented to you years ago, and that was putting a footbridge to connect the parking on First Street and the public parking lot on First Street behind the Dalton Building and one over on East Main. There's also some property that's not developed, owned by Jeff Ballard, that could potentially be converted to a lot. You have 2 buildings on East Main Street that need to be torn down. Just walk by them, you'll smell the level of mold. You don't want to be near it. And you can put a public lot right there. But coming on to East Main, trying to do 2-hour parking or parking permits and all that, it's unnecessary. You guys are regulating a problem that does not exist. And we would ask that you don't, just stay out of it. Work on West Main, I understand there's problems there, but on East Main, we don't have an issue, and we'd ask that you just leave us alone. Thank you.
Any others?
Hello, Mayor and councilmen. My name is David Allen. I own and operate Allen Provided Healthcare Service on East Main Street. I've been in there about 14, 17 years. And I guess I've been in business between East Main Street and Jefferson Avenue and 5th Street, all together about 37 years. Now, about 2 or 3 years ago, we did have a parking problem because we had a deli down there. We had nails found the shelves. But right now, it's about 5 buildings down there, I guess. And out of those 5, I own 3 of them. And my employees, they generally park in the back. It's a parking lot where they'll park across the road. And all day long, we just got vacant room on Main Street. So I guess the only complaint that I have right now is, like I said, 2 or 3 years ago, there was a parking problem, and we tried to do something about it, nothing was done about it. And now there's not a parking place, and it appears that someone just wants to hinder something that's going right. Because like I said, the only people that comes down to my store is only through my fax machine or they call. And they either come by and they don't say, they just pick it up or we bring it to them. So it's not a traffic problem down there. And I park my van outside of my building nearly every day. And that's probably about 8 or 9 spaces or so. I would ask you all, if you will, to just leave it the way it is. I mean, it works for us. I mean, the two people that's really working in that small section on Main Street, I can get to say it was him and myself. And I've got about 12 employees, and like I said, most of them park in the back, or they just use the private parking lot across the street. So if y'all could take that in consideration, I'd appreciate it. Okay? Thank you. You have a good day.
Any others? All right, let's go on to the consent agenda. And for consideration of August 18th, 2020 council meeting minutes. You'll review those and then have a motion, please.
Mr. Mayor, make a motion to approve the August 18th, 2020 council meeting minutes.
Second.
Okay. And all in favor?
Aye.
And then we'll move on to old business. Reconsideration of graffiti ordinance, ordinance 2020-06. After you've reviewed it, if you'll give me someone will give me a motion, please.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adopt ordinance 2020-06 as written.
Second.
Okay, could I have a roll call for this one, please, sir?
Yes, sir. Mr. Penn?
Yes.
Mr. Dawson?
Aye.
Mr. East?
Aye.
Mr. Radcliffe?
Aye.
Mr. Klontz?
Aye.
Mr. Reese?
Aye.
Then we'll move on to new business. First one, inoperable vehicle ordinance, ordinance 2020-08. Look over that. I'll need a motion for that, please.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion, we adopt ordinance 2020-09, ordinance amending chapter 82 of the Code of Ordinance pertaining to vehicle decals.
Wait,
Zero, right?
It's
Mr. Radcliffe.
08 first. We're doing 08.
It's 2020-08.
Inoperable.
2020-08, I'm sorry, that's 2020-08, I'm sorry. Had one ahead of it, it's next.
And can we get a second?
Second.
And can I have a roll call, please, for this?
Yes, sir. Mr. Penn?
Yes.
Mr. Dawson?
Aye.
Mr. East?
Aye.
Mr. Radcliffe?
Aye.
Mr. Klontz?
Aye.
Mr. Reese?
Sorry, I was muted. Aye.
Thank you. And then, antique vehicle decal exemption, ordinance 2020-09. Review that one and then.
Now, Mr. Mayor, I make a motion, we adopt ordinance 2020-09, ordinance amending chapter 82 of the Code of Ordinance pertaining to vehicle decals.
Second.
And may I have a roll call for this, please?
Yes, sir. Mr. Penn?
Yes.
Mr. Dawson?
Aye.
Mr. East?
Aye.
Mr. Radcliffe?
Aye.
Mr. Klontz?
Aye.
Mr. Reese?
I think you're muted again, Mr. Reese.
Oh, yeah, aye, sorry. Thank you.
Okay. And then, a resolution for extending CRF deadlines, resolution 2020-28.
Mr. Mayor, I move we adopt resolution 2020-28 as written.
Second.
And may I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Penn?
Yes.
Mr. Dawson?
Aye.
Mr. East?
Aye.
Mr. Radcliffe?
Aye.
Mr. Clance?
Aye.
Mr. Reese?
It's muted again.
I think you muted yourself again, Mr. Reese.
I'm sorry, guys. I have to abstain because I don't think I've received a copy of that ordinance, and I just don't feel comfortable, voting on that. Thank you.
Alright. Now let's move on to the manager's report. Mrs. Bertram.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of council, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, we will be rolling out another phase of CARES Act funding, which will be directed toward nonprofits. I'm pleased to report that we have officially approved and sent over to the county for checks to be cut for 15 small businesses. We have a number that are still in process where we are requiring some additional information in order to complete applications. And we do intend to advertise both the opportunity for nonprofits, but to continue making known the small business grant proposal. We have, with the 15, approved approximately half of the money that we initially allocated. We allocated $150,000 for the small business grants, but we are anticipating that the county will be providing additional funding, so that's why we're going to go ahead and roll out the nonprofit group, as was also announced by the county, I believe, at their meeting last week. So I would just encourage each and every one of you to, if you are visiting one of our businesses, just ask them if they're interested not only in the town's program, but the county's program as well. And I would tell you that the lion's share of those that we have approved out of that 15, I think all but 2, perhaps 3, have also applied to the county. So they'll be benefiting from both small grants. The other thing that I want to mention to you all tonight is that at your next meeting, I cannot predict whether or not we're going to be able to tell Mr. Reese if he's muted or not, or whether or not we're going to be able to take pictures of what's going on, because this young man next to me did not make my day when he announced this morning that he's leaving us in 2 weeks to go take another position, this one in the private sector. But I think all of you have seen and enjoyed Jordan's very professional approach to his work, and he will be sorely missed. We keep trying to convince him that he's made a bad decision. If you all have the ability to change his mind, please feel free to do so. But he has provided very valuable resource, particularly to these meetings, as you have tried to make known to the public what activity is going on during this very unprecedented time. So those are the only 2 things that I want to announce this evening.
We certainly hate to see you go, Jordan. I heard that just maybe an hour ago, so I was disappointed, to say the least, but wish you the best of luck.
I thank you, and
Future endeavors.
I thank you all for, continuing to welcome me ever since I started working here, and I look forward to finishing strong. So
I told him I'm going to work him tenfold these last 2 weeks, so he better get ready. I'm going to wear him out for his new job.
Well, as a reminder of our future council meetings, the next one will be September 15th, 2020. It'll be a council work session at 5 o'clock here in these town council chambers. Then we'll have October 6th, 2020 council meeting at 7 p.m. in the town council chambers, and October 20th, 2020 council meeting at 5 p.m. And with that, if anyone would like to make a motion, adjourn. Can I have a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
And a second? All in favor?
Aye.
It's not my job.
Thank you, Mr. Reese.
Jordan, where are you going?
I am going to Tuck Chiropractic. their administrative offices. We'll
I
be
didn't
their,
know we had that problem, but.
no, I'll be doing their,
Can you train Spencer on how to do all that stuff?
I should be able to. Either him or Dave.
It's your name.
He can just publish that you're having a closed session. But that's a legitimate use of it.
Yeah, the one that used to be.
You could have adjourned to had you.
Seven o'clock to the
Adjourn the meeting. You could recess.
So we're actually
Otherwise,
Yeah, when I
24 hours.
turn to go down, it's over on the right.
Well, depending which way you go. Some of them left. So you've got David Allen's healthcare building, then it's